Hello all, you find me behind the new ADHD Prismatic. This is in fact the board that I rode most last year. Why? Because I'm a bit of a boost monkey, and this is the last deck to throw in the towel when you really start to push your luck. It's the king of no compromise big air, starting its life many seasons ago as a carved pop freestyle board in the range, but over time big air was added and this thing became a weapon at full power. It's unchanged in shape this year, and last year it did gain a few extra centimeters in length, but please only look at the widths of these things as an indication of the size. In truth, the ADHD sizing is easy for the majority of the weights. If you ride pads and straps, it's the 140. If you ride bindings, it's the 145 you see here. You'll see that both models come with the central 6-inch inserts for full boot bindings. Interestingly, the ADHD looks like it has the most rocker in the range, but it's actually set on the same CC curve as all the other boards. It's just that the extra length pushes up the tips, making it look quite extreme. The reason for this is to keep the front fins as far away from you as possible when you land. There is no other board in the range that can land as hot and as fast as these things. You can stick the most horrendous of landings, which is a good thing as you'll be using it with plenty of power. It's also quite a thick board and possibly the heaviest in the range. The reason being that it has to be very stiff in the core. Hot landings mean that you stand a good chance of buckling the deck and pushing the nose too far down when you land. It also has thicker rails than the others, and as a result, although I'm told that it doesn't make any difference at all, I'm not entirely sure that's true. The board feels much more planted in the water, and it just hammers its way through noisy water like it's not even worth mentioning. As you can guess, the board is supremely composed when you turn up the juice. The weight of the deck disappears and it's replaced by pure confidence and the willingness to keep soaking up even more. You do have to have good legs for this board, but not in that it's a stressful board to keep pinned. Far from it, in fact. So far as the prismatic range goes, the combination of outline, the rail, the channels make it the easiest of all the boards to pin. It is, as I like to say, capable of digging its own rail to such a degree that you hardly have to lift your toes at all, and the weighting between the front and back leg is very, very even, meaning that you can take huge loads without burning out that back leg. The one aspect I've not talked about so far is freestyle, which is what this board was originally designed to do. And it stands in the range shoulder to shoulder with the Ronson in this regard. In this, the ADHD is probably the king. Now, if you have the ability and the conditions, the pop and slack you can get, and the superior landing ability means that it's a better board than the Ronson. But, and there is a big but, you have to get the conditions right. And you have to get your technique right, otherwise the Ronson will give you consistently better results. Lastly, of all the boards in the range, the ADHD is certainly the least tactile and most inefficient of them all. In truth, for what this board does and the power levels at which it operates, it's of no concern. No one wants to chat when you're wide-eyed and going for it. You just want compliance. Plus, light winds are pointless for what it does. You may as well be complaining that your Le Mans car doesn't have enough room to fit the shopping. So there you are, the ADHD. It's the fast jet of the range. Easy enough to ride and forgiving enough to use backwards and forwards with only moderate levels of ability. But it lives in a world where you have to bring power to the table before it even starts to wake up. If that sounds like you, please do give it a go. I think you'll like it a lot. I certainly do.